Africa, and welcome to another special edition of Impact Stories. And today we are celebrating an academic hero. We are live at the office of the founder of Afe Babalola University, ABUAD. And to celebrate this academic hero, we are here to delve into his life, speak more on his achievements, and if the final question, he has had a fulfilled life. My name is Irene Dufie, and I would be your host for today. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, we will start with our conversation. Stay tuned.
This is Afe Babalola University, ABUAD, situated in the outskirts of Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, on 130 hectares of land and at an altitude of 1,500 feet above sea level, providing an ideal cool climate for learning. From 3 colleges in 2010, the university has grown to 6 colleges. ABUAD College of Engineering took off in 2011. Today, the college has 37 laboratories, all furnished with the best learning tools. In 2012, the Department of Mechatronic Engineering was introduced, making ABUAD the first university in West Africa to run the program.
Welcome back. This is Impact Stories, and we are celebrating academic mentors. And today we are privileged to have in our midst Aare Emmanuel Afe Babalola. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. We would want to know a little bit about you. Can you let us into your life?
Well, I was born some 90 years back.
That's nice. You look young.
People say so. But I can tell you, I do not know the exact date when I was born. My parents were illiterate. No regret. I was born at a farm.
Okay.
Both parents lived on the farm. We lived in a mud-built house covered with thatch roof. No regret.
Yeah.
We used to come home once about 3 months, slept on the farm. And on the farm, we used to sleep on banana leaves at night. We usually change the leaves after about 2-3 days. We enjoyed it. It was pleasant thing indeed. I thought it was the best in life.
Okay.
Didn't bother about clothes. I was a young boy. I didn't wear clothes anyway. Of course, no shoes at that time, whether for mother or father. I thought and I prayed then that one day I will inherit part of my father's farm.
Right.
I would inherit part of the cutlasses and hoes.
Yeah.
That was my ambition. But that was my own idea, but God had a different plan
For you.
I think I was about, 7-8 years old when a catechist came to my father and pleaded with him to send one of his children to school.
Right.
I was the eldest child, and he asked me to go to school. That meant leaving the farm,
Yes.
to live in the town. From the town to about 3 miles away from my family house, the managed school, Ado-Ekiti. About 3 miles. That wasn't an easy thing.
Yeah.
So I believe that at that time must be not be less than 7-8 years. In 1937 January, I must be about 8 years or so. Because at that time you must put your hand over your head to touch your ear before you could go to school. And in any case, I do not know how anybody who was only 6 years could have registered in 1937 January.
Yeah.
So I must certainly be more than
6 years.
90 years now.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. So I went to a managed school, and every Friday rather, I made sure that I ran back to the farm to meet my parents.
Yeah.
And Sunday night I'll come back to the town to go to school.
Yeah.
But went on for almost 7 years or so. I didn't have much interest in learning because I tell you why. On the farm, you didn't have to bath.
Okay.
You didn't have to change your clothes. You didn't have to clean your teeth. But in the school, we were made to do all these things under punishment. If you didn't do it well, I didn't find it comfortable or enjoyable. So I lost much interest. I had no interest in learning. My mind was all the time on the farm, where there was plenty of food, plenty of plantain and fruits which were wasting away. However, something happened when I was standard 3. That was about 6 years in school. A man came to the school, a new teacher.
Okay.
He had been trained in St. Andrew's College, Oyo, which at that time was like the university, 4-year course training for them.
Yeah.
And they were specially trained in finding out the interest of the child or why a child was not doing well. He found that I was one of those who had the ability, but my mind was not
interested in learning.
He concentrated on a few of us like that, and at the end of the year, instead of about 20 out of 25 children, I found myself within the unit. That changed my mind. So the next 2-3 years, I was more interested in the school
than the farm.
Than the farm.
Yeah.
So by the time I left school, I finished my statistics in 1945. I was clearly the best in my class.
That's good. Even before we leave your primary school education, do you still remember some of your classmates over there?
Yes.
Okay.
A very highly distinguished one is Dr. Nathaniel Kolade, the former Nigeria Commissioner to England. It's in Lagos.
Okay.
Yes, it's doing very well.
So how often do you see them, or do you meet up? Do you have
Well,
something
the
like
others
that?
are very old. Unfortunately, some are dead, and not many anymore. It's not easy to be 90 years old.
Yeah.
So when I won the last, I got the award, the Awolowo Foundation Award for leadership recently. You probably read about it. A classmate of mine came there. I think it was brought by my children. Actually, I wouldn't recognize him again, only to testify as to what I was in those days, how hard I was reading at home, and how I came up as number 2 best teacher when I took examination in 1946.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see him, but then he couldn't sit properly. He was head on left and right to sit down. So that's it.
Yeah. At that time, what was your career ambition during those times when you were in the primary school? What was your career ambition at that time?
Well, first, when I was in the farm, my ambition was to inherit part of my father's farm.
Yeah.
When I was in school, my eventually was to go back to school. But when I finished my statistics and I did very well, my ambition was to become a teacher. At that time, there were only 3 types of jobs available. You were either on the farm, a teacher or catechist, or in the civil service. And that was, in the civil service, there were very few people there. You have the DO, the state officer, a white man, and local government director also. So it was not a job for many. It was a month later that the civil service became an attraction to people. Most great attraction at that time was teaching. Teaching or a missionary employee or farming.
Yeah. So on record, we know that your formal education ended at primary school level.
Absolutely correct.
But you have become such a colossus today. What happened? Can you run us through what happened?
Yes, I remember very vividly that when I left the primary school and I decided to teach, I met a young man. His name was Low 2 or something like that, I can't remember now. He ordered tuition from overseas. He was preparing himself for Cambridge at home.
Okay.
It was through him I knew that it was possible to order tuition at home,
Yeah.
train yourself, and pass examination overseas. So I then took advice from him. I ordered tuition from overseas, from Wolsey Hall, Oxford,
Okay.
who will prepare you for the examination, similar to what you have on the internet now.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like that then. We used to prepare our answers, we send it overseas through post office,
Okay.
and we come back in 14 days. And they will mark your paper and return it to you, correct it, and so on and so forth. The idea was that I would study privately for 6 years for my Cambridge certificate.
Okay.
However, I told them I could do it in 5 years.
Wow.
So they prepared me for 5 years. And by 1950, I attempted my Cambridge school certificate at home. And I passed. I wasn't satisfied with my class, so I repeated my my first level
Yes.
to enable me to enter to prepare for university degree. And by 1953, I cleared all my 4 subjects at advanced level instead of 2, which was required at that time.
Yeah.
And most importantly, there were only 3 of us in Nigeria then
Right.
who passed 4 advanced level at the same subject. A very rare thing, even now. 2 Igbos and myself.
Okay.
That was a record then.
So right after your education and after your 7 years stint as a pro-chancellor and even chairman of the Council of University of Lagos.
I think there's a gap.
Okay.
After obtaining my 4 advanced level subjects, I sat down to prepare for BS Economics of London University privately,
Yeah.
which I obtained in 1959. And then I decided to read for law.
Law too.
I read at home again, prepare myself for LLB London University, which I passed in 1993. But I had to go to England for my bar examination. I had enough money through as a graduate teacher.
Okay.
And I became a lawyer in 1993 July.
And did you also practice in Nigeria too?
Oh yes. I came back to Nigeria and I practiced. I became a senior advocate in 1987. And that was the end, of course. Well, the highest you could go as a lawyer.
Yeah.
I didn't want to become a judge. I was offered, in those days we had to be offered the post of a judge in exactly 10 years when I started my practice by Judge Oyemade, who was the president of the court in the Western region then.
Yeah.
But I rejected it because I wanted to be in active practice.
Yeah. Yeah, and after that, you had your stint as a pro-chancellor and chairman of the Council of University of Lagos.
No, when I was practicing as a lawyer, and after I became I became a senior advocate, I was offered ministerial appointment twice.
Wow.
I rejected them. The Attorney General of the country.
What was the reason behind
when
that?
I rejected it, President Obasanjo, second time, now offered me the post of Pro-Chancellor of Lagos University.
Yeah.
At that time, the university was in chaos. There was corruption there. As a matter of fact, the truth was that the vice chancellor then established an outreach in South Korea where they were selling the university degree of the University of Lagos.
Wow.
That influenced the president and set up the inquiry, and I was there. That's how I found myself as the pro-chancellor of the University of Lagos. I found it an honor to be asked to go and correct the ills in that university. And I did it very well, I can tell you this, because first we set up an inquiry to look into the corruption there.
Yeah.
We succeeded, and we removed the vice chancellor. And secondly, more importantly, I refused to take any allowance. My allowance was paid straight to the university for scholarship.
Yeah.
But I found that the university was in chaos. The roads were bad. The hostels were nothing to write home about. The libraries, the engineering department. So, and I invited my clients, including Julius Baja, my client, Shell, my client, Moby, my client, and so on and so forth, to come and help me to refurbish the place. Julius Baja tried the roads. In fact, it also built a model engineering complex for them. I found it. I myself put up my own building for them.
I was about saying it because we saw that in University of Lagos, Afe Babalola building.
That was what I built. I built it first.
Yeah.
Donated to the university, commissioned it with the president Obasanjo sitting there. And I asked my clients, look, now I'm here to help this university. We want to change it. We want to make it a better university and the best in the country. And people donated. We donated almost $1 billion that day to the university. And at the end of that year, I won the prize as the best pro-chancellor in the country. And twice. So when I left the place in 2007, I said, look, isn't it better for me to establish a university which would be an example of how university should be run, or how it should not be run?
Exactly.
That's how we established university.
That was even my next question, and I was about asking, what was the reason for setting up this institution?
Well, the reason is, the reason can be found in the fact that I knew through my experiences in University of Lagos that public universities have problems. Problem of management, accountability, and so on and so forth. The reason why I succeeded so much in University of Lagos was, one, I was not there as I didn't see it as a political appointment for those who work for the president or other people. I saw it as an opportunity to serve. Those who are at public university are not, I will put it this way, they should be, to be a leader, to run a university properly, you need a leader who is there to reform, who is there to plan, who is there to get results, who is there to change things. But when you are there as a traditional man, you can't do business. You can never make it. The reason why I succeeded was because I was there to change things and to spend my own money, spend my own time, and also bring in my own friends and those who succeed in life to come and help the university. Unless you do that, the university can never do well.
So as a chancellor and also the founder of this university, we know it comes with a lot of pressure dealing with both internally and externally. How have you survived?
The pressure is very much. We have what we can call societal problem in this country. The problem of leadership is one, but also there's the fellowship problem. One of the pressures I had was the fact that I stayed in Ibadan. I sent money to those working for me here. Unfortunately, all did not go on well. Do you know that it was one of the contractors, the name is Fast Link, who constructed that Obasanjo road, who complained to me that, sir, your people, your other workers here have made use of his own gravel and all that. I said, how much? He said, 2 lorry loads. I said, look, yes, I'll give you 2 lorry loads back. He said, no, sir, I don't want your 2 lorry loads. Why? Your people would collect money from you on the ground that they had deposited 2 lorry loads of 25 tons. But in fact, they would bring only 10 tons. So I was paying money
more than what you are
for
given.
more money than what was deposited.
Yeah.
That was the reason. I conducted an inquiry and I found out it was true. That's why I decided to leave that place to this place for myself, to see things myself.
Yeah.
As a result, this structure where you are now, which at that time cost about 1.7 billion, I now put it up for less than half of that amount. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Nigeria will continue to do that. That's why the ASU recently said there was too many structures which are burdened in public universities.
Yeah.
That was the sort of thing I saw myself in the University of Lagos. So accountability is very important, and people who have to run the university must be people who want to serve. They must be selfless. On the contrary, you have selfish leaders. That's the most of the areas.
Okay. So we want to talk about the role of being a proprietor in this modern world. How has it changed from you being a chancellor to you owning an institution on your own?
I think my answer is similar to what I've just told you. When you own a university, or when you own your own factory, like bread factory, water factory, and so on, you are interested in seeing it succeed. You spend your time. You do not have a limited time to say, I must close at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Your time is totally, you are timeless when you are serving there. But when you entrust a university to a chancellor or people to run for you, you must pray day and night to find the right type of person who will share your vision, who will be passionate about the success of the university, not those who want to spend 2 out of 3 pounds given to you for 2 for themselves and 1 for himself. I give an example. One university proprietor is having a private university recently, some 7 years or 8 years ago. It's a successful businessman by any standard. He came to me 2 years after. I said, sir, quote, I'm in trouble. I said, what trouble? He said, my vice chancellor has diverted my money to his own property. How? I gave him so much millions. He spent only this amount on it. What do we do? He asked me how I could go about it. He said, can you leave your business to oversee your own university? I said, no. Well, we have to look for the right person. That case is in court now. Now you appoint another one. Hmm?
Yeah.
That new one said, the way you construct buildings here is wrong. Instead of using these blocks and lots of things, it is easier for you to order prefabricated walls and so on from overseas. Okay. He stopped building at the stage it was. This bachelor asked him to give him $1 million to order this new system of building whatever from overseas. After 6 months, nothing came back. Then the proprietor came to me and said, again, sir, this is my problem. I said, well, ask him to give you the name of the company to which he paid the money. Well, later to find out as a father, it was his own private company.
Mm.
At the end of the day, the matter went to court again.
Yeah.
So, if our universities will learn from me, if proprietors will learn from me, those who want to invest in universities, want to start private universities, must be prepared to personally be involved in how things are done in the university.
Mm.
It's a matter of luck if they have a son, a relation, or somebody who's really good. Because here, after so many years, we have found quite a number of people who are trustworthy and who share our own vision and passion. But these people are very few and far between.
Mm.
Until we change our culture here, the culture of thinking that the property of your employer belongs to him, is making profit, and every money you think you find there's profit. Until we change that attitude, we'll never make it in this country.
Mm. Thank you very much. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Aare Afe Babalola. Stay tuned.
Afe Babalola University has a tradition of rewarding excellence among its students. On the strength of the quality of its facilities, ABUAD was described by the Nigerian Society of Engineers in 2015 as Nigeria's model for engineering studies.
This is a template that all Nigerian universities in engineering must borrow from.
ABUAD.
We would want to recommend in current amendments that all universities doing engineering should do a peer review. Come here and see what is happening.
In 8 years, ABUAD Law College has grown into a prestigious law college in Nigeria, attracting yearly more applicants than the college can admit.
I'm amazed at the level of investment, facilities, and dedication. It is certainly the best law college in West Africa.
Our students have shown the quality of teaching here. The second set, we had 2 in first class and 28 in second upper in law school, which is monumental achievement.
$500 million. Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, this is Impact Story, and you can watch it live on Association of African TV on Facebook and on our YouTube page. You can also search on your satellite, and you would also find us there. We're talking about Afe Babalola University. And before we went on the break, you were talking about how important it is for owners to have a say in their institutions. We want to talk about some of your achievements and the things you have done. We know that you were the personal lawyer to the ex-president Obasanjo, and you defended him on several occasions, including the 1999 election petition. Can you walk us through it?
Well, I did not know President Obasanjo before. He became the head of state. And then he ordered that there should be election into the Constitutional Assembly.
Okay.
But it should be based on no party system.
Right.
In other words, people should be elected on the basis of what they had contributed to the society, not on the basis of political parties. My Oba here, that is the king here, asked 6 of his chiefs to come to me at Ibadan, which was the base, my base for legal practice, to plead with me to represent Ado-Ekiti in the Constituent Assembly.
Right.
Ado-Ekiti is my hometown.
Okay.
I told them, look, I'm not interested in politics. I'm only interested in giving as much as I can money for development. The chiefs went back to the Oba, reported to him. Then he called my mother.
Yes.
He said, look, please plead with your son. This is what we want for him. And so on and so forth. Then my mother called me. And I told them, look, I am ready to support, to go to the Constituent Assembly, provided that there will be nobody who would also rival me. Because I didn't want to spend a kobo on politics. His Royal Highness said, nobody is going to oppose you. So my name was sent as the only candidate for Ado-Ekiti to the Constituent Assembly, to Obasanjo. And never knew that those who were interested in politics were not happy about the choice, the views of the Oba.
Okay.
So they wrote to Obasanjo's government that I had not paid my tax, therefore I should be disqualified.
Wow.
But that was wrong. As a lawyer, I used to pay my tax in advance of auditing.
Okay.
So I had a receipt for it. So I went to court. The matter went before Judge Sagoda, a very brilliant judge by any standard. And they found at the end of the day that I was qualified and that I'd paid my tax. The judgment was given to Obasanjo. Obasanjo disobeyed the court order.
Wow.
And so the other man went, one fella, he went to represent Ado-Ekiti. That was my first coming, the best time I had the opportunity of having anything to do with him. Some years after now, the president, the father of the president's Senate leader, Saraki, he was also the Senate leader in Lagos at that time. At that time, Lagos was the seat of the government. He announced to the parliament that somebody has stolen 2.8 billion of Nigerian money in England and deposited it in Midland Bank. The thing became serious matter for the whole country. And then the president, Shagari, set up an inquiry into the matter, whether or not 2.8 billion of Nigerian money had been stolen. And the president, Shagari, appointed me as lawyer for the government.
Right.
Meanwhile, Obasanjo was the person who left the seat before that time. I subpoenaed him to come and give evidence about the money of Nigeria in Midland. That was how we first met.
Face to face.
And he was visibly impressed with my submissions in the court. After the matter was concluded and we found that no money was lost, he had cases. He wrote some books. One of it was, it's not my will. And it was sued to court.
Yeah.
The man who did not allow me to go to Constitutional Assembly now employed me as his lawyer. And that's how I became his lawyer and became close to him. So much so that when he won last election, he invited, the first election rather, in 1990, he invited me to become his lawyer in 1999. That's it. So I defended him against Falai. We won. We defended him against Buhari. We won.
Okay.
And on and so forth. I know him as a very, very courageous, very strong, very highly willed person. He's a man of his opinion. He hardly changes his opinion. He will defend it, but most of the time he was right.
Yeah. So we want to talk about your awards. And when we start mentioning them, we will not finish. Because you have won them both locally, internationally, internally, everywhere you step, including chieftaincy titles and all of that. Yes. So how do you feel as somebody with so many awards? How does it make you feel?
Knowing my background as you now know.
Yes.
And knowing how I started, knowing that I was poor, I was Mr. Nobody, I was able to overcome poverty, and today, with thanks to God, I feel happy that I'm Mr. Somebody for Mr. Nobody. It was Bishop Kuka, one of the best writers in this country today. Bishop Kuka is he's a Catholic bishop in Kano now. No, in Sokoto. Who wrote a tribute when I got this award we are talking about. That a tree does not make a forest. But in the case of Babalola, a tree really makes a forest. And that here is a man whose education stopped in class 6, who has now become, who had become the pro-chancellor of a first-class university, and a man who ordinarily should be, at the best, a tout at the motor park. You know what he is. So when you see people writing this sort of you or things about you, you feel happy, and indeed I must say I'm happy. And I keep on asking God, why me? Why me? Every day I ask him, I thank God. But I must thank God that he gave me unusual courage, unusual discipline, and ability to forget things. When I say forget things, if you quarrel with me now, tomorrow I want to remember that you offended me. Because the only thing I do is focus on the future. Focus on how I will make it. I believe that problems are created for man. It is those who conquer problems that can call themselves successful people. So I believe that these problems are there for me, but I always think of how do I overcome it. I'm a very happy man having all these awards at home and abroad. Many chieftaincy titles. I've stopped accepting chieftaincy titles when I won a case in northern part of Osun State, and the Obas now came and said they wanted to give me the title of Chief Agbanila. Agbanila means the one who saves people, the savior. I said, don't rank me with God, though. I'm not savior. I said, I don't take a chieftaincy title anymore.
We can't talk about you without talking about your philanthropic works. And Yesterday I was going through your CV, and your philanthropic works was over 3 pages. And it's so much impact you are putting out to the world. So which of them, particular one gesture, makes you happy the most?
So many philanthropic gestures, from hospital to bar centers to colleges and so on and so forth. I think the best decision of my life was taken when I left University of Lagos. That is, a decision to establish a private university. At that time, the best boutique in London, Summit, Nejua Road, was mine.
Wow.
I had five buildings on that road which were mine. I had others in many other areas of London. I sold them.
Wow.
I had properties in Lagos. I sold them. In Port Harcourt, in Ibadan, Abuja, I sold them. I had money in the bank. As deposits, I emptied them. Put them here to establish this place. In the hope that at the end of the day, I will be able to establish a university where I will be able to train the new minds. I'll be able to train new future leaders. I'll be able to change the whole of Nigerian people. I believe that is the best philanthropic gesture which I embarked on.
Right. He also served on several boards and councils. And sometimes we wonder, how do you unwind? Because the load is too much. How do you unwind?
Yes, as I'm talking now, I have more than 5 applications from different organizations asking me to be patron of this, patron of that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Every day we receive one. Because people believe in what a writer described as the brand name. That writer described my name as a brand name. They just want to use a name. But as a matter of fact, I'm still today, by the grace of God, the president of Nigerian Institute of Arbitrators, one of the highest organs in the country. I'm still there. I'm still patron of so many institutions all over the country, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And we know you are an academic, and not just an academic, an excellent one by all standards, and you keep on writing, as writing is very important. We know you still write to the newspapers every week. You also have your writing. Would there be a time you would stop writing?
Well, I remember in 2010, January, when I invited Nigerian University Commission here to see our facilities. We were the first university to install interactive board. And it enables you to use use that board to teach your students.
Yes.
The same thing they are teaching maybe in Harvard or other places at the same time. So when one of my new professors, who had been a professor for about 40 years, saw it, said, well, this is a modern thing. I'm used to using chalk, white chalk on blackboard. I'm not going to do this sort of thing anymore. I called him and said, look, the day a man decides not to learn, that day is dead. You must keep on learning, because the world itself keeps on moving. It's not still.
Yeah.
The planet on which you are
Keeps
is
evolving.
either revolving
Yeah.
or orbiting, both.
Yeah.
As it revolving, it's also orbiting the sun. So how can you say so? You know that today is one of the best users of the latest equipment.
Yeah.
Until I cannot write, in other words, until I'm dead, I keep on writing.
Right. Yes. So now we are going to talk about your personal life. And this is where we ask about the favorite title, Aare. How did it come about, and what is the meaning behind this title?
Beautiful. I don't know whether you heard about one rich Nigerian called Abiola.
Yes, heard the name.
I was his lawyer. And they are laughing in history was an emperor whose empire extended to River Niger and the north and the east, Benin and so on, and then to Dahomey, which is now Benin Republic.
Yeah, Benin.
He had the vassals, he had the people, special people surrounding him, special chiefs. One of them was Aare Onokokofu. That is the one in charge of the military. They wanted to make that man the Aare.
Right.
But some people opposed him. They said he had no power to do so. Abiola had used his extensive influence and power to invite people from all parts of the world, and they were assembling here. The country was charged. I went to court.
Yeah.
And a day before the event, that's a Friday, the event was Saturday, I won the case.
Wow.
They're laughing. That was how Abiola became the Aare Onokokofu. Meanwhile, I've been the lawyer to Alaafin for over 40 years.
Wow.
And now he called me. I want to make you
Yeah.
the Aare Bamufi of Oyo Empire. Meaning the chief who's in charge of the law in his kingdom.
Yeah.
So my title is a very big one.
Yes.
It's as high as that of any Oba. Any high Oba, not just any Oba. It's a very important one. So I can liken to the Lord in England.
And we are proud of this title.
And I am very proud of it myself.
We are too. We want to talk about Aare Afe Babalola as a family man. Who are you? Who is behind you? Who are your children?
Well, I grew up in my own, in those days. My father was a polygamist, 4 wives. As I told you, I was the only one who went to school.
Yes.
But I came back to train virtually everybody, including the bossa here today. Everybody, so many. So, and also I have many children as well. Maybe you have heard of Bolale Peters. Have you heard about terraculture?
No.
Oh, so you're not a Nigerian?
No.
Oh, it's an international body. It's doing very well. Many are lawyers, many are. One of them is also an associate professor here.
Right.
So we're doing well.
So we want to talk more of your political inclinations, since you were a friend with President Obasanjo. Do you toe that political line?
That's a very, very important question. In my readings in those days, I had the opportunity of going through the book called The Republic by Plato, one of the greatest writers ever in the Greek days.
Yeah.
He asked the question, who is a politician? The answer is, anybody who's interested in how it's governed is a politician. The day you are not interested in how you are governed, you should live in the forest. I'm interested in how I'm governed.
Yeah.
To that extent, I want to know who governs me, how it governs me. But there's a difference between being a political animal and being a partisan politician.
Yeah.
I'm not in partisan politics.
Right.
But I'm interested in how I'm governed.
So what is your religious inclination
to? I was born at a time when Ifa Oreko, that is native system of doing things, was the one that reigned. I can tell you because people, I think a lot of damage has been done by the white men who thought everything that we had in Africa, at least in Yoruba land or Nigeria, was barbaric, it was primitive. Now, when I was only 6 months old, no, 6 days rather, under this custom at that time, I never knew the fact until I built my beautiful building, put up a beautiful building at Ibadan for my office. My mother and my father, with this woman who came, an auntie, who came to Ibadan to see the building, said, she started to cry. I said, why are you crying, man? For about 5 minutes, I couldn't desist, could prevent her from crying. And she said, when I was, that is me, only 6 days old, I carried you on my back with your father and mother to the far priest to find out who you are and what you are going to be. And when we got to the far priest, he performed the normal ceremony and called on my mother. That was what that one was telling me. Said, say you won't offend this your son. My mother refused to say, how can I not offend my own son?
Yes.
But my father at the end of the day say so. If that okay. The mother said, okay, I will offend you.
Yeah.
Okay. He went on with ceremony. Said, this your son is going to travel to Ibadan. At that time, Ibadan was like heaven. 5 days travel. Then he went on, said, after some time in Ibadan, he will go over a river, a water. Didn't know about sea then. Said, after spending some time beyond the river, he came back to Ibadan again. Look at him. He's going to make Ibadan very great. Look at it today. We put up the tallest building in Ibadan. I've said this because of our own religion at that time. Because we are talking about religion. What that priest said about me when I was 6 days old has come true one by one. Now, there was a writer, an English writer, who said the Africans had their ways of life. They had their religion. They believed in it. If we want to conquer these people, the first thing we must do is to let them veer away from their belief. That's why they brought Christianity. As a result of which, many people have forgotten our own system, our custom, our religion, our beliefs. So far as I'm concerned, my philosophy is simple. He prays most who was hardest. It is not the man who spent 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 minutes kneeling down that is praying most.
Yeah.
It is the one who wakes up and says, God, be with me today.
Yeah.
Goes to his work and works hard that prays most. I do not believe that a particular religion is closer to God than the other. I can tell you Ifa is as good as that because they believe in God too.
Yeah.
Catholicism believes in God. Protestantism believes in God. Mohammedanism believes in God. Buddhism. When I went to China some years back, I was taken to a village and I saw that what they have there is not different from what we have here today. They had on the walls the pictures of their great-grandfathers. And every morning they would go to the grave, to that picture, to that place to pray, which our own parents used to do before. Do you know that if in the past something is lost, and we were about 6 of us, and if we went to the grave of the grandfather or whatever, took the part of the soil there, mix it in water, drink it, do you know that the person who stole among the 6 of us will confess immediately?
Wow.
Think something will wrong. Do you believe that? That is the truth.
Yeah.
If you go to court of law, you have a Quran, you have a cutlass, you have a Bible, you have the Quran.
Yes.
You have to swear that everything you are going to say will be the truth and nothing but the truth. Nobody wants to swear with the cutlass today, in Yoruba land at least. But they will swear with the Bible. Everything I'm going to say is going to be true and kiss the Bible. But as soon as it gets there, the real name will be different name. That is a different address.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. But you swear on cutlass. Before you get home, you'll be surprised with your car.
You want to talk about your favorite food. What do you like eating best?
Well, remember I told you I grew up on the farm.
Yes.
Pounded yam was the best food for us. And when I was going to school in those days, my mother overnight would prepare my pounded yam, wrap it in a leaf. The following morning, put hot water on it and put some soup.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And any music you
And
still
they
like.
still the same today.
Yeah, and music you like.
Oh, Sunny Ade is my best music.
Right.
You know Sunny Ade?
Yes, I've heard the name.
Oh, you have only heard the name. I play for you now. It's here.
Yeah. And we know you are aging, but you are strong. What keeps you strong? Yeah.
Well, I've just told you, he prays most who works hardest. What makes me strong is hard work.
Right.
Hard work does not kill. Work kills is indolence.
Yeah.
Hard work never kills.
Yeah.
When you work hard, when you are working, as a matter of fact, you have no time to think about everything. You don't have to think about bad thing. You don't have to think about your bad friend or good friend. You concentrate on what you are doing, planting or digging or whatever. So, and God is so merciful. When He wants to rest, you just you start to yawn.
You are good. You're sleeping.
So if you can take a small rest, maybe 30 minutes, merciful God will refill you with energy.
Yes.
I work for average of 18 hours a day.
A lot of hours.
I wake up about 5. By 7, I'm ready for work. I'm here. This morning I've been on the farm for 2 hours before coming here. Now, I work here till 3 o'clock and then go and eat. By 5 or so, I go and have a snap. Maybe 1 or 2 hours, then a wash, then come to work till about 2 a.m. every day.
Wow. At this age?
Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
And so finally, we are going and we want to ask Aare Afe Babalola, are you a fulfilled man?
Fulfilled man. From the farm to terraces to 2 degrees of law university to be honored with a LAD of that university, professor of education by the Oxford Business School, best pro chancellor for University of Lagos in Nigeria, owner of a university which has been described as a pride of university education in this country, and described as the best, a model benchmark and reference point university.
Yeah.
All those things ought to make one fulfilled, but I want this university to be ranked by the grace of God among the best 100 in the world before I say, yes, here I have achieved all I wanted. I'm fulfilled, but there's still something else, a little more for me to do. Then you ask the question at that time, I will let you know.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And for spending your morning with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned with us on Impact Stories. And this has been a special one and a very interesting one. You can still watch it if you didn't watch it on our Facebook page, our YouTube page. My name is Irene Dufie Addai and have been your host. Stay tuned.